welcome to Herding Little Cows to the Glory of God. This is a day in the life video. It is November 18th. I'm trying to look at the calendar over there. It is it's our first really cold day outside. So it's been cool, like low 40s, but today the high is supposed to get to 33. So I think we're gonna be in the house today. Yeah, the baby can have one of those. The baby wants a cracker. So we are making bread. We're making bread, yeah. We made some bread yesterday, but we shared some with somebody, a friend that we were taking dinner to. And so we still have some bread. Where's the rest of our bread? We have more bread somewhere. But maybe we ate it. No, we ate it all. I forgot. We made bread yesterday. We made 4 loaves, and it is gone between sharing with friend and whatever. So we're making more bread today. What are you doing? These kids love to eat the flour out of the bowl. So I am going to mix this up. You knead it for 10 minutes. This is our recipe, so do it, and then if they want to screenshot it or whatever. I'm making French bread today, so this is kneaded. If you try to make that English muffin bread, it's going to be very, very wet, and you don't knead it. You want it, it's like a batter bread. So if you look at that recipe and try to make the English muffin bread, you're gonna wonder why I'm gonna knead this thing, but I'm making French bread today. Abigail's here. What have you been working on, Abigail?
Extra math.
Abigail did her extra math, which is math flashcards. So she did that this morning. Did you do well?
Yeah.
Yeah? Baby hangs out with me in the morning after breakfast so that the girls have some time to do school. They're in their room, which is right there. What have we done for chores this morning, guys? Yes,
clean the table.
Cleaned the table?
I swept.
You swept. Yep, there's still some dirt behind you on the floor that didn't get swept up.
What are you working
on?
School. Right now he needs to go work on laundry. His job is to make sure laundry is going every day. So
one of my things is making my bed.
Making her bed and collecting the laundry, right?
Yeah.
So thank you for letting me know.
And a didn't I, Tom?
And the sink guy came a long time ago and fixed our sink, like days ago. Okay, so Josiah's having a rough medical day, so we will just stay close with him.
We had a Newton.
Yeah.
He has.
For those who don't know, who are joining us for the first time, Josiah is the 8-year-old right there. He has epilepsy, and some days we have a harder day. We have CP. You have cerebral palsy also, right?
Yeah, I'm 3.
You're 3. This is Uriah. He's 3. We'll do the family introductions. I'm Sarah. I'm married to Mark, who's behind the camera. We have 7 kids living at home. So you met Josiah, who's 8, Uriah, who's 3. Malachi is 13 months and just climbs on top of everything right now.
1.
Yep. Abigail, can you say who you are and how old you are?
I'm Abigail and I'm 5.
And what do you like to do?
Clean.
Clean. Okay, she's not told me that before, so I will make sure that she has plenty of cleaning jobs. Don't worry. Who are you?
I am Samuel. I am 10 years old, and I like to play outside
Yes.
and make stuff outside.
He's bummed that it's getting cold out there and we won't be going out every day, right?
Yeah, and he made a boat.
And
he's making a boat, that's right.
He already made a boat.
that's in one of our other day in the life videos. You can see his boat. It did weather the storm the other day. This is a lot of work. So, and I need more flour.
Looks like a lot of work.
It is. It's good though. This amount that I'm making is going to make 4 loaves. So if you're like a normal size family, 4 loaves might last you a while. Considering we're sharing this today and we're not a normal size family, we might have some bread at the end of the day. We'll see. That's just how it goes around here. You'll see the kitchen is still kind of messy because we had breakfast and haven't done the full cleanup yet. So we still have some dishes. That's usually after breakfast, the big girls go and start their school. And mommy and littles do chores and cleaning. Girls do chores later in the day.
I point the camera at. Malachi. Every time I get the camera near him, he's doing that.
She's doing it again.
He already smiled.
Can you make a smile like him? Yeah, look at the camera and make a smile like him. His face is gonna fall off. He smiles so hard. So anyway, the big girls do chores around here. We've had people ask, why am I the one doing all the chores? Well, you see me on the videos doing some stuff, but the girls, one of them makes lunch And then they wash dishes after lunch, and another one makes supper, and they wash dishes after supper. So
And one makes
I help.
breakfast.
I help with stuff. Like yesterday, I helped make eggs at lunch with the other stuff.
Keep talking about Naomi.
Oh, Naomi makes.
breakfast.
Oh, sorry. I make supper. One makes breakfast, one makes lunch. And then they wash dishes after lunch and supper. Is that better? Did I say it right? Okay. It makes it so that when I get up in the morning, I can concentrate on people, specifically Josiah, because his mornings are his roughest time. And so we get up in the morning and we read books, and we do that, right? Yeah. We read books. I talk to my mom, who lives in the backyard in a little house back there. She calls me on her way to work, speakerphone.
Every morning.
She does she obeys the law on whatever you're supposed to do, hands-free. I don't know. I don't use my phone in the car, so I don't know how that all works, but she calls me hands-free, and we talk in the morning on her way to work every day. It's fun. And then we read books, and I start doing the getting people dressed and all those things that go with being a large family mama. And Naomi makes breakfast. Breakfast is usually homemade bread as toast, or we make oatmeal, right?
Yeah. Or chocolate oatmeal.
Or chocolate oatmeal.
Or plain.
Or plain.
Bread with the jelly if you wanted it, and peanut butter.
Do you want a piece?
Plain butter and cream cheese.
You can play with that.
And I'll be dead.
Don't eat it. You'd find that really weird.
I'll be dead.
Push it with your hands like Mommy's doing, like this. You do that? Do you need
I'll
the
be
bread?
dead.
Start them early. So anyway, we sit at the breakfast table all together. Daddy is home because he has a disability. He doesn't work right now. We're working on that.
Yeah.
If you saw our live stream last night, we're working on that. But we have breakfast all together. Daddy is intermittent fasting, so he doesn't eat breakfast, but he reads us Bible while the rest of us eat breakfast, right?
Yeah.
And what else is going on? No, you don't want to eat it.
Yes, you do.
You're gonna find that funny.
To play with, not
He's like,
to-
oh,
And
that's stuck in my
there's the
finger.
recipe again.
There's the recipe.
And
So then, hold on. So we do our chores around this time. Sometimes bread is made in the morning, sometimes not, but today it is being made. Then we will go out and do our school together, right? We have a morning basket. I've got a video on that. We do our morning basket together. And then we do other subjects, or we play games, or we do therapy. Kind of varies day to day, whatever's needed. Like yesterday, not a ton of school got done because Mark and I had some stuff we had to work on, just getting credit card paid and that type of thing, right?
Yeah, we had a van fixed.
We had her van fixed.
Yeah.
And so then it cost money. We weren't sure how much it was going to cost, so then we had to talk about the repairs and what we were going to do to pay them and everything. We have been out of debt for
Since April 2009.
so 11 years
11 and a
now.
half years, yeah.
And we have not gotten back in debt. So when I say that we use our credit card, we have a credit card that we get rewards, and we pay it off at the end of every month. We make sure that we have the money in the bank before we go purchase things. But we use it. You want to be on the camera? He wants a picture taken, Daddy. We make sure that we pay it off at the end of every month. So it's more like a debit card, but we've had our debit card stolen a couple times, and it's hard to get back money if someone steals it from your debit card. It's much easier if you use a credit card to, what's it called if you need to, like, challenge the charges or something.
Yeah, to dispute a charge.
Dispute a charge.
Yeah.
So like if you find something on there that you're like, I didn't buy this thing, it's much easier with a credit card to say, please don't pay that amount of money because I didn't pay for that, as opposed to someone who took money out of the debit card and then you have to try to get it back. So, because we've had it happen a couple times. We had our debit card stolen in a church parking lot, along with our phone, our digital
camera and everything
sorry,
else.
that's what I meant, our digital camera. And the people who stole it took pictures of themselves on our digital camera. Then we got it back.
Stupid.
The police found them when they were trying to rent a hotel room in our town, and our credit card company called us. So, yeah, so we were doing credit card stuff. This kind of turned into a here's what we do in our lives video. So we did a bunch of that. The kids were playing games and reading books, and even watched a couple shows. They watched a Torchlighters. Did you guys like the Torchlighters?
Yeah, and
Do you remember who it was about?
Daddy, George Mueller.
George Mueller. What was George Mueller known for?
He was known for having lots of kids.
He had lots of kids.
Yeah, no.
Well, they ran orphanages,
Yeah.
so they brought in a lot of kids to help a lot of kids in need.
And Daddy read Bible.
And then we read Bible. Yeah, we read Ruth chapter 2 today, right?
Yeah, this one.
About
And it's talking
going
about.
into the field to glean.
It's talking about Naomi.
Let's talk about Naomi.
And Naomi, yes, that's right. We have a sister named Naomi.
So-
I have a daughter named
So I showed you these guys out here. We also have a 13-year-old girl named Naomi Ruth. And we have a 17-year-old girl named Virginia Elizabeth. And they are
Baby, stop.
both, Virginia is out of school now. So when I say she goes to do her school, she goes to do whatever educational project she wants to work on in the morning. She's doing a online course for sign language. And she just wrote a book and did a documentary. So she's still doing educational stuff, but she's not technically in school. I don't have to do anything for her for grades anymore. So what else goes on in our day? Oh, so sorry, you were talking about George Mueller. So other people had orphanages. Why was George Mueller famous?
Because he had more kids than anybody, right?
Well, he had a lot of kids, but why was George Mueller so special? Who did he rely on?
God?
God, for what? Tell us one of the stories that happened to George Mueller.
A guy came up in a cage and said he could have his home.
Said he could have his home?
Yeah.
No, he could have his land for half the
His
price.
land, yep. He got land for the orphanage because he was someone who prayed a lot, right?
And God said, and he asked God to give him a sign. Then he went into a sign.
He asked God to give him a sign and then he ran into a sign.
Yeah.
So,
Story.
okay, go ahead.
So, there wasn't no food in any of the orphan houses. So, George Mueller prayed for food, and then right after his prayer, a milkman knocked on the door, and he said that his cart broke down right in front of the orphanages, and instead of letting it spoil, he was wondering if they could use it. And then seconds later, a bread baker came by, and he said he was up all night, and he couldn't stop thinking about the orphanages, so he baked bread for them. So he provided
Which is
bread.
kind of what we're doing here.
We're breaking some bread. So this is done. If you've never made bread before, you knead it. This one kneads for about 10 minutes, and then when you push it down, it pops back up. That's because the kneading process works the gluten in the flour, which are kind of like long strands. And when they are kneaded and worked, they start to pull apart. And how bread works is you put yeast in it, which is living. It starts to grow, right, Abigail? The yeast starts to grow. And if you've worked the bread well, the gluten will hold in those air bubbles and make your bread light and fluffy. So this is gonna go in the oven just so nobody disturbs it. And this will rise for a couple hours. Right? Yeah. So we are gonna go finish our chores, do some school, but we'll do some more videos today. So you'll see us in a little bit. Who knows what we'll be doing then. See you in a little bit. Say bye. Can you smile for them? Bye, Bob.
What you working on?
Spanish.
What you eating? Me no comprendo. You comprendo?
I may have gotten it wrong. I don't know.
What's it? Anyway.
No, because I think he might be playing a joke on her. Yeah, I've seen him do that one before.
What you working on?
Sign language. So you can do compound signs. So instead of doing like the double movement on book and store, you can do bookstore. So I'm watching, what I do for sign language is an online class. So it's the teacher with one of the students. And so he was telling her to sign food store, you can do it with 2 hands. And you can do the same with shoe store. And he's trying to get her to like do these movements right. And then he lets her know, I'm just teasing you. That's not actually how you sign it.
Okay, so you guys might hear kids in the background. It is 9:30. I had put the bread in a warm oven so it rose faster. So this is the bread we made. You let it go till it's doubled. I have sprayed a pan, and I sprayed this pan. Normally, I would do 4 loaves of bread in these. But I was trying to save on dishes last night. So we had made bread, popped it out, and it's pretty clean. We washed them, but it's pretty clean. It's just got oil. Can you tell them to quiet down a little bit? They want a different song, I guess. So you have a little oil in them. Well, I was trying to save on not having the girls have to do so many dishes. So I used my bread pans and put leftovers in them. So that's broth in the one and hamburger in the other. So I don't have enough bread pans. So instead you can do it on a regular baking sheet. So you guys get to see the stuff. I put a little oil on my hands. And like I said, this is 4 loaves worth. So I probably don't make bread right. This is how I make bread and it comes out fine for my family. But don't critique my bread making abilities because I'm self-taught. So if you want to be self-taught, watch me and do my self-taught way, I guess. So all I do, you can like roll this out and then roll it to make it nice and neat. I squeeze out all the bubbles and form it into a oblong shape. That's what I do. Isn't it pretty? Yep. And you don't want to drop it on the ground. I've done that before. And you got to get rid of it or you have hair in your bread. That's how it goes. So, or whatever's on your floor. We have hair on our floor. So I'm going to make this into 4. And I will just lay them here on the sheet. So while we're doing this, Samuel, what have we done this morning?
We have started doing some school from our morning basket, which we have a video on. And we have...
What have you done for your school so far today?
I have done some exercises and some computer school, which is like Typtastic, which is training you for typing, and extra math, which you
Josiah, stop please.
Which
No,
you
come this way.
it is math flashcards. So yeah, that's pretty much all you've done for school.
That's his school. So Samuel said he does exercises. Sorry, my bread's a little sticky. Samuel hurt his knee really bad when we were on our trip in Florida last year. He dislocated it a couple times because he was too eager to learn soccer from the Brazilian exchange student that was there, that he kept playing and kept hurting his knee worse. So he has been in physical therapy since June, April, I don't know. He's been in physical therapy for quite a while, a couple times a month, and he has just graduated. So now he has to keep up with his exercises, but he doesn't have any more weekly appointments. So here we go. My bread's probably a little sticky because the air in here is a little moist today. So there we go. So we're gonna let those rise until they're again doubled, and then we will cook those at 375. So like I said, it is 9:30. Virginia just came and asked me what she's supposed to be making for lunch. I told you she's our lunch maker. We are trying to use up some stuff because we are planning a trip out of state if the COVID allows and all of that stuff. And so we're trying to use up some of the food that is going to go out of date while we're gone. So we've got like some bags of beans and stuff that need to be used. And so she's gonna make soup with some broth we have in the freezer, 2 chicken breasts that we have in the fridge, and then some parts and pieces of stuff we have in the pantry. And that's all, right? Yeah?
So.
Daddy's been working. What's Daddy been doing? He's behind the camera. But
I've been exercising.
Daddy's been exercising. He's been using his mornings to do that.
And watching Danny Faulkner talk about astronomy.
Okay, shout out to Danny Faulkner. He is an astronomer who works, well, I don't know his exact,
Works with Answers in Genesis.
right, I don't know his exact title, but he works for Answers in Genesis, and we have really appreciated what he has to say about a lot of different things. And he worked on a video with Pat Roy and Kyle Justice, what's it called? The video? No, he made a book
The book
called
is
Falling
Falling
Flat. That's
Oh,
Danny
yeah.
Faulkner's book.
The
Flat.
something about the edge.
Yeah.
Pat, I'm sorry, I don't remember the name.
Okay, we'll try to post that in the comments, or we'll get it before the next video. But something about the flat Earth and why
Naomi,
the flat
what's the
Earth
name of
is not.
Pat's video about the flat Earth? Faith on the edge. The Earth is not flat. Just so we're all clear, it's not flat, it's round, spherical.
So we really like the things that he has produced. We might not remember the names of them very quickly, but Pat Roy and Kyle Justice have done a great job explaining why the flat Earth is not a biblical thought, even though the Bible doesn't specifically say, here is the spherical Earth. But there's a lot of things that people who believe in a flat Earth can have some construed misconstrued. That's not the word I'm looking for. They can have
Screwed, that's the
screwy
word.
thoughts
Screwy.
on how God actually made things and that type of stuff. There are some people that have gone so far to thinking that science might be might have some things that they don't understand, that they say, okay, all science is bad and we just have to think the opposite of science. And that's not really making any
Science
sense.
is always right because science means knowledge. Scientists are not always right. They have worldviews by which
Right. It's kind of like doctors. We really enjoy the care that we get from our doctors. But doctors don't always know anything. And I could say, oh, because the doctor misdiagnosed this thing, I'm never going to trust a doctor again. Doctors do have a lot of knowledge and have a lot of good things to say. So that is the end of this section of the video. I'm going to put these to rise and we'll show you when we're ready to bake them. So we did our morning basket, which I have explained before. So now they're each doing some of their, I don't know what you would call this part. They have to read a sentence and they have to illustrate it. So Abigail, what does your sentence say?
Josiah is yelling at his dog.
At
The dog.
the dog. She had already written it, and so she had an idea in her mind of what she wanted to draw for this picture. These are words that she's working through in her alphaphonics lessons. Alphaphonics is what we use for teaching reading for our kids. I'm not saying there's not other programs out there. It just has worked for all of our kids so far. And so they like that. Uriah, can you show Daddy what you're doing?
I'm doing this and a sentence on.
What does your sentence say?
Sam sat.
Sam sat. Right.
Sam sat.
So Uriah has only learned about 4 or 5 sounds to put together. So he only has a couple short words that he does, but he wants to be part of it like everyone else is. He's not actually learning to read very much at 3 years old. But the other side of his paper, I wrote a capital letter and a lowercase letter for each one. And so he circles the 2 letters and then he draws a line to match them. So these are just things we do using white paper that we have at home. Josiah wrote a sentence, illustrated a sentence on either side. And now he's doing I don't know, we call it a game.
Fun paper.
A fun paper. And so I made shapes and he has to color them in the right color. I think it's a square. I don't know. Some of the squares and rectangles look the same, so you try to figure it out. The baby is just trying to crawl out of his seat. That's all he does during the day, is try to see what he can get into. Samuel is finishing his memverse. So every day, there's a program called Memverse. You can type in what verses you'd like your kids to learn in what version, and they have to type the verse in. So it's our kind of spelling, practicing keyboarding lessons. And so he has to look at his thing and see what 2 verses he's going to be quizzed on that day, and he has to go write those sentences down. We don't do a whole lot of handwriting in our family. We practice it, but Samuel has essential tremors, and so his handwriting is not super neat. So if he wants to show you his handwriting, he can, but he has an issue that makes it hard for him to write those verses out. Do you want to show them? He works really hard at handwriting, but still, there's an actual reason his handwriting is kind of poor. He's been working really hard. That's really good for him.
His hands don't stay still.
Yes, his hands are...
It's a medical condition. His hands literally cannot stay still.
So he looks on Memverse and sees what 2 verses they're going to be quizzing him on that day, and he has to write the verse out and then try to remember how to spell those words when he does it on his Memverse. So that's what he's working on right now. And Virginia is making lunch. What you making, Virginia? Soup.
Chicken soup. Yours has carrots, onions, Swiss chard, and have green beans in it. And then ours has more split peas and lentils and higher carb stuff. So we've got a lower carb version here, and then higher carb version here.
So Virginia is going to have Samuel go to the basement and get some stuff for her that needs to go in the lunch. Naomi is still working on her Spanish. She's almost done with her first year Spanish class that she's doing online through Easy Peasy Homeschool. What else are we doing? I think that's it. We're going to eat lunch here in a little bit, and then we're planning a nap time this afternoon. We don't always take a nap all together. But mommy didn't sleep well last night. This guy didn't go to bed till after 11. And then he was up a lot. He's working through moving from 2 naps to 1. And so that's been making bedtime hard for us. So we're probably going to do a nap this afternoon. This won't look like a normal day, but we'll show you in a little bit what we do for lunch. So
I'm grabbing 1 bag of potatoes for the soup. Here is our storehouse of food.
Food storage and play and therapy and all kinds of stuff down here. Taters.
So now we're gonna wash them, cut them, toss them, and eat soup.
Night two.
I adjusted my.
Screws and latch so little people don't go down there. Very good job. You shaped good in all the colors and all the shapes. Very good job. Woohoo!
okay, we're back. You just saw us a few minutes ago. There's a little chaos going on in here, but mommy forgot I was making bread rise, and so it got a little more than doubled. But I just turned the oven on so that it can cook. So that's gonna cook at 375 for a while. I never time anything, so when it looks done, I'll take it out. Can you look at Daddy? He's gonna help me clean out the fridge because I'm gonna get out the things that are gonna get thrown in the soup that were leftovers and stuff. So that's what we're gonna do, right? We're trying to keep this guy awake for about another hour, so he'll take a good nap this afternoon, right? A good nap this afternoon. We'll see you in a little bit. Hey, so we saw you guys about 20 minutes ago, and so the last 20 minutes have been a little chaotic. So Virginia finished making our soup. She made a different one for Mark and I than she did for everyone else because Mark and I are trying to eat a little lower carb. So we still have corn and carrots and stuff in our soup, but she didn't put the split peas and the potatoes in our soup. So in the midst of all of that, the baby went and helped me. You hear the shaking because the kids, Josiah can't crank the grinder for the salt and pepper. He needs to shake it. So he was shaking salt and pepper on his soup. So you saw us do the bread, like start cooking the bread. The baby came and helped me clean out the fridge, which means he takes stuff out of the fridge and throws it on the floor or plays with the light in the fridge. Yeah, that's his help. But I was able to figure out what we had. We were able to figure out that we're gonna make chili tomorrow to use some of the leftovers we have in the fridge. And I was able to put away 3 containers of hamburger from a big, I cooked a 10-pound, 11-pound thing of hamburger yesterday. So I was able to put some away in the freezer. Then we had some potty accidents. And so people have had a couple potty times. So if you notice, Uriah got himself dressed today and we have a shirt on backwards. Can you show me your shirt?
Inside out.
Yeah.
But that's what happens when you live with toddlers and all of that. But we're going to enjoy our soup. Normally, while we're eating lunch, I turn on my phone and we found just a random website. You want to write them? We found a website that is 100. I'm going to get it up so I can show them. You can write 1. Come here and get a marker. So 100 words every freshman, high school freshman should know. And so we've just been going through 3 words a day. We write them on the board and then we look up the definitions online. We see if the kids know what the American Heritage Dictionary. 100 words every high school freshman should know. So our words for today, we're at the end of the list, are we did wretches yesterday. We're on the last 3 words. Xylem, I think that's how you say it, yacht, and zoology. So we'll go around and we'll ask the different kids if they know what the definition is, and then we'll read the actual definition and talk through how that word is used in society.
Someone else.
Okay, Abigail, can you write the other 2 words? Okay. Oh, okay, so Abigail's gonna write our words. We sit here and we snack. After lunch, we usually have a quick cleanup. We don't do dishes right after lunch. We usually move to the living room, like we put away food and stuff. We move to the living room where we read a chapter of Bible or some verses of Bible and discuss it. And if we do that today, we will show you how we do that, but I'm not sure. We have some very tired people. Normally we go out there and Uriah lays down and he falls asleep towards the end of our Bible time. But we'll see if we actually do that today. We might do Bible at a different time. So that's what we're doing. We will see you guys later.
So these are done. So this one could have gone a little less time, but it's fine. It's just got a little darker on the top because it was on the top rack. But if it were in the middle of the oven, then that'd be different. And
We
then
normally put all of them in the 4 pans in the middle of the oven.
right. And then these are the other ones that, since we forgot about it rising, got a little big, but we're just gonna cut them. Oops. See, Mel, can you move your hand so I don't touch you with this? So we're just gonna cut those apart with a bread knife, and they'll turn out fine because they taste the same, no matter if they're a big 3 lump. This is this.
Just don't touch it.
Big lumps. I have big hands, and those are big lumpies.
They are.
Yummy.
Uriah, do you have any coffee?
So here we sit. We did lunch. People are cleaning up. Mommy is laying down with Uriah, trying to get him to go to sleep. And Malachi is going to sleep. And Josiah here is sitting here kind of tired looking with Daddy. So what are we going to do, Bob?
I want to play a game.
A game? How was your nap, young man? Did you have a good nap?
He wanted to stay sleeping.
You wanted to take
Like,
it.
he
Now
woke
you're gonna
up.
neglect it.
He woke up and then he just wanted to lay in bed with mommy.
What you working on,
all
Mom?
he wanted to do. I make myself some coffee.
That's a lot of sugar for one coffee.
Well, you know, sometimes you need some sugar. No, I'm refilling the sugar jar. For sugar, this thing. I don't know what you call this thing. I'm refilling it though. And I'm trying to eat lower carb, but I'm still having sugar. So I'm actually measuring it out. I'm measuring out my cream because I'm putting it in a nice little app to see what I'm eating each day. I am trying to get my body healthy for if God were to bless us with another pregnancy. Not a pregnancy announcement, just that's what I'm trying to do, is get my body healthy.
We should keep track of how many times you say on a video,
Not a pregnancy
this
announcement?
is not a pregnancy.
Well, because people expect that, like, oh, we have a baby who's a year old, now we should have another baby. But I don't usually have babies this close together. So, just in case people start asking. Here's my Josiah. This is where he spends most of his days, right here next to my side.
Yeah.
So, you like your mommy?
Yeah, I love you.
I love you too.
You left your spoon in there.
I know, I'm
Mom.
gonna mix it. So, yeah, I'm trying to get my body in healthy shape. If God were to bless us with another pregnancy. The past 2 pregnancies, I've dealt with gestational diabetes. So I'm just trying to help my body be healthy. It's not really about losing weight. It's just about being healthy. And my family graciously let me take a nap, but it still wasn't quite enough. This guy will sometimes take a 2-hour nap starting at 8:30 in the morning. And he'll sometimes take a 15-minute nap in the morning and not take one in the afternoon. He'll sometimes take a 2-hour nap in the afternoon. He hasn't quite figured out exactly how this transition to one nap's supposed to go. So
what are we doing the rest of the day, Mommy?
I don't know. What should we do? Today's cold outside.
We're not going outside.
It's very, very cold. Like,
I went out there and I froze, and I left the camera out there to do a time lapse.
did the camera freeze?
And when I brought it in, the camera was frozen, and it got really foggy and wet and everything, and it was not cool.
Oh, that's not good. Hey, hold on just a minute.
I know.
Okay, so I mixed my coffee. You want to throw this in the sink for me? We have some books from the library to read. So we'll give you a quick rundown of what books we're reading. Let's go to the, you want to put the cream away for me? We'll go to the living room and tell people what we're reading for books. Let's go.
Where does it go?
In the fridge. So we still have a sleeper. Laundry is still out. We still have,
That's just the winter stuff. Other ones.
That's winter
the
stuff.
other laundry has been folded and put it away.
So we still have a child sleeping. Oh yeah, that's one book. You can show that one.
Put on that.
Okay, here, Abigail,
The
bring me the
story
books.
of the orchestra.
Bring them over here, and I'll set my coffee down. So this is the story of the orchestra. It comes with a CD. The CD's in our computer, and it goes through different composers, and you listen to 1 to 3 minute clips of their music, and it goes through the instruments in the orchestra, and you listen to various things that.
What are you doing? You think this is funny?
Sorry, that's too cute.
What are you doing?
Thank you. Okay, so it goes through various music. We're also reading Children of the Great Depression. I don't know how you want me to show these. It's got pictures, and we just thought with everything crazy going on in the world to show our kids that other kids have lived through hard times. So Children of the Great Depression. We're getting books one at a time. There's some kids' books. We won't explain all of those. This one, Naomi is learning Spanish through a program I mentioned earlier on Easy Peasy Homeschooling. So I found this at the library randomly. More kids' books. They like these Richard Scarry books that have all the pictures labeled. You still bringing me more? Another Richard Scarry book.
Got any more there, Bob?
Yep. Got a movie.
We haven't been able to preview that one yet. No.
Funny, got 2 more.
Okay.
When's Oxcart, man?
Okay, so Richard Scarry, we enjoy his books.
Yeah.
This, if you've never heard of these, Circumference and the First Round Table. It's a math adventure book, so it follows these knights around. This guy, it's about the first round table. His name is Circumference. His
Yeah.
wife is Die of Ameter.
Lady Di.
Lady Di of Ameter. And his son is Radius. And they explain how we have those measurements for a table. It goes on and talks about all different types of math, geometry type problems. They're really fun. And it's Cindy Neuschwander, which I think
Neuschwander.
is somehow related to me back in the past because my mom's maiden name is Nicewander. And it got changed around a lot with Ellis Island and that type of thing. Okay.
Oxcart man.
Another book highly suggested, Oxcart Man, illustrated by Barbara Cooney, who's a local author. So this was a book we read when I was a kid and things like that.
Me like
But it goes through. Can you tell what the book's about?
It's about an ox cart man and his ox cart and the animal who pulls it, and
What does he do with all his stuff?
Yeah. What does he have to do?
he's got walk to a town and then come back with stuff. Sold his ox cart.
He sold his ox cart.
He sells all his wares, and then he sells his cart, and then he sells his ox, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
He talks about all the stuff his family makes to send to market, and then he comes home with his pocket full of coins, right?
Yeah.
Okay. This is called Rabbit Proof Fence, based on a true story. We have not watched it. I've heard it's for kids 10 and over, so we'll watch it with the older girls. But about 3 girls who had been taken because they were Aboriginal Australian children. They were taken to a special camp, and they escaped the camp and found their way home using the rabbit fences in Australia. I don't know much about it. Animal Math, it's just a book that has random questions regarding animals and talks about how you use math for those things. Another random one I just picked up, Weird But True Facts. So here, we'll give her Weird But True Facts. In a lifetime, the average American drives approximately 627,000 miles, or 25 times around the world, using enough gasoline to fill 3 fuel tankers.
Wow.
And a church in the Czech Republic has a chandelier made of human bones.
Okay, that's gross.
Church history person, tell me why.
No bumping.
Who did this?
I don't know about that
What
one.
evil person is behind this
But
nefarious scheme?
the 3 cages hanging from the church in Munster with the that used to have the bodies of the Anabaptists, that's gross too.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's
Virginia,
not.
you want to stand with
yeah.
me for a second?
Yeah.
Okay. I just have a load of books. Okay, Farmer Boy is what we are reading
Yes.
aloud as a family right now. I just actually was talking to someone on Facebook about this series this morning. The kids are really enjoying it. So
Yes.
part of our nighttime routine, maybe we'll show you at the end of this
That's
video.
Mama boy.
It's Almanzo. So this is Laura Ingalls Wilder. You've probably heard her books, Little House on the Prairie and stuff, and this is about her husband's childhood when he lived in New York. And so at nighttime, we get the kids all pajamaed, we come out to the living room, and we light a lantern that's up there, run by oil, or we run a candle, which is behind Mark, and one of us holds our phone as light, and we read the book aloud to the kids in the dark, and they really enjoy it. And so we've been reading 2 to 3 chapters a night out of that book before we do our prayer time. And then the kids have really been enjoying this. Life of Fred, it's a math series. Some people use it as their full math curriculum. I don't think we use other math curriculum too, but the kids have really enjoyed it. It's about a 5-year-old who's a math teacher, a math professor at Kittens University. That's as ridiculous as it sounds. His doll talks to him, and they go on all kinds of math adventures, right?
Yeah.
And they find out random little things, like in the first book they learn all the different ways to add to 7, and so 7 keeps coming up. You know, he had 4 apples plus 3 apples, and we had 7 apples, and it just keeps coming up, and teaches basic algebra principles and why you do them in a very basic way. So this is only the 2nd book. It goes up through algebra, I think, or even higher than that. So we just got it from the library. Kids are enjoying it, right?
Yeah.
It's got little math problems at the end.
I like
So this is why I'm not allowed to go to the library, because when I come out, these library books have all just dropped in my lap. You know, sometimes people go to the store and, you know, that bag of chips just somehow finds its way into the cart. For us, library books just find their way to our house. So here you go, Samuel. You want to put some books away? There we go.
Quite a show. What do we got?
Put away here.
Library books and church library books and friends borrowed library books and books of our own. We got books and more.
We really like books. We spend a lot of time in the winter. A lot of time in the summer we spend outside. What are you doing? Okay.
Just really want to snuggle with Mom.
A lot of time in the summer we spend just lots of hours every day outside. But being winter in Maine and all the older people in the family have trouble with cold. Some people in the family like being outside in the cold, but most of us don't. We have health issues, and so we spend a lot of time in the winter reading. And so the kids will get paper and they'll color while I read a book, or they'll play with blocks or something like that. And we read books and we try to make them educational so that we're always learning something. Maybe it's educational just like Farmer Boy or Little House on the Prairie. You're just learning about how other kids lived in different time periods. Sometimes it's more nonfiction books like I was showing. I've got the hiccups now. But I think we're going to read a book. How about you go pick one of the books for us to read, okay?
Okay.
So that's what we'll be doing for the next whatever amount of time. And what?
We haven't done Bible
Virginia, if she's
Huh?
out in
We haven't done Bible yet.
Oh, yes, we have to do Bible too.
Galatians 3.
Virginia, if she goes out in the cold, her hands turn purple.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or
What do
blue.
you think, purple girl?
Or green.
It's not terribly fun.
Good. We're actually going to put that away because Mommy forgot about Bible.
He's
Our
doing his
schedule's
cheesy
off today.
smiley thing.
Oh my
Daddy's not real high on the
God.
cold either. Daddy's not real high on the cold, but Daddy's behind the camera because I don't like showing my face.
So we are going to do Bible now. It's normally right after lunch, and so I woke up and went into what is normally our next schedule because I don't normally take a nap every day. So we will see you guys in a little bit. So we just told you all about the books, and we decided, wait, we didn't do our Bible yet because the day's screwy. So the kids are eating a snack now. They normally do have a snack in the afternoon, but we normally don't eat it in the living room. And so I think this guy's tired. So we are going to sit down to do our Bible. How we do it is I read verses and they follow along after me, right? You ready to do it?
Then the adults.
We go from youngest to oldest. Malachi doesn't read yet. Oh, foolish Galatians.
Oh, boy,
Who has bewitched you?
who have you with you?
Are you now
Are you now
being perfected
being perfected
by the flesh?
by the flesh?
Did
The Spirit
to you
To you
and works miracles
and works miracles
among you.
among you.
Do so
do so
by works of the law?
by works of the law in the scripture, foreseeing that God would justify the Gentiles by faith.
But the law is not of faith. Rather, the one who does them shall live by them. Christ redeemed us from the curse of the law by becoming a curse for us.
So then we ask the little ones what they heard. So what's something you heard or learned or have a question about? Uriah.
Can you tell me?
You want me to read your verse for you again? O foolish Galatians, who has bewitched you? It was before your eyes that Jesus Christ... Bewitched?
Yeah.
That's the word you don't know? It means who has made you think something that's not true. Okay, so your verse said, does he who supplies the Spirit to you and works miracles among you do so by works of the law or by hearing with faith? Just as Abraham believed God and it was counted to him as righteousness.
That's faith.
Faith? That is a difficult question. Could have asked an easier one. So faith is things, believing in things you can't see, but you know them to be true.
Like God.
Okay?
Okay, so what's your question?
I was going to say verse 3. Are you so foolish, having begun by the Spirit, are you now being perfected by the flesh? Like he's said before, Jesus Christ, what he has started in you, he will also complete it. And he's still talking about the works of the law. And if Christ started your salvation, you're not going to be saved by the law as well.
Having begun by the Spirit, are you now being perfected by works of the flesh? And so if you truly believe that salvation is by faith in Christ, then why are you trying to rely on works for your justification? And even going back to Abraham and saying even Abraham wasn't justified by works, even though people see him as Old Covenant, therefore it was by the law, it still was by faith in Christ. It wasn't the works of the law that were saving them.
Works. He's going to give you a heart that's like his, that loves truth, that wants to proclaim the kingdom and the gospel and to see other people saved. Like, if he's done that, that's what we're going to expect to see.
I need to teach them the Bible and I need to teach them who God is and all of that stuff. But none of that is going to do the saving. It's all God who does the saving. And so I sometimes put too much emphasis on what I'm doing and how good I'm doing this task. And I need to remember that I'm weak and God is using a weak vessel to do his work. Hey, so it is now a little after 4. It's getting dark here in Maine, if you can see outside, so our lighting's going to be bad for any more videos tonight. But if you live in a cold climate, you know that there's a big clothing change when the weather changes. So today being 33, we are getting out our mittens. We're not going outside today, but the other day I got all of our mittens out of storage. We washed them because they get musty smelling, just sitting in the basement. And I went through and found out what fits people this year. We have made a bag for the car, in case we were ever stranded on the side of the road or anything. So people have hats, gloves, and a couple scarves are in the van, just in case we got stranded or if Daddy and Virginia needed to shovel us out of somewhere. And then I figured out what people need for this year. So on the bottom we've got our hats, a couple extras, we've got some scarves, and then we've got mittens that fit everybody. There's a couple extra pairs in case they go play and they get wet. And then I'm putting the ones that do have matches, but we won't be using on a regular basis, in a bag for the basement. So this has all the extra hats, scarves, and everything. We can go down and have someone get them, but I'm also getting rid of all the extra gloves that don't have matches. Like, I don't mind putting a kid in 2 gloves that are different colors, but I don't want to keep the ones that don't actually have a match. Like, you're not going to wear this one and this one together. So we're just trying to figure out what. You could wear that one and that one together, but I think these ones are more the same size. So we're gonna put that one together. And now we have a couple extra gloves and we will put all these down to the basement. So that's what we have to do. We've already gone through the clothing and figured out who has enough long shirts and long pants and all of that stuff for this year. And I'm gonna put this away and then we're gonna start getting supper ready. So we'll see you in a minute. Okay, in the kitchen with the kids is a little crazy, but she's gonna put some red pepper flakes. We are making a chili for tomorrow. Okay, you're gonna mix it? We are making a chili for tomorrow. So some of that hamburger that was in our fridge earlier, Okay, that's probably good. We don't want to make it too spicy.
Where's tomorrow?
Just making chili for tomorrow because I had to use the hamburger. So there's hamburger in here. There's tomato sauce that was in the fridge. We put in some chili powder and some pepper. Can you crank some of this in, Abigail? And
We done that.
we're gonna put salt in. So go ahead and crank that. Can I have your spoon for a second? Because I need your help. Okay, he's gonna put some, what's this called? Garlic in. Can you do that?
Yeah.
Yep, that's good. One more. We like garlic.
A big.
Well, that is a big one. Okay. We also put some minced. Oh, okay. We also put some minced onion in here. Can you take your spoon back? Okay, Abigail, that's probably good. So Mark and I, like I said earlier, we're doing lower carb. We're not doing keto specifically, we're lower carb. So we're gonna eat it like this. And so once it's warm tomorrow, we'll take out our portions and then we're gonna put these cans of pinto beans. I already put pepper in. I already did. We're gonna put these cans of pinto beans in. Someone gave us these cans. I'm trying to use stuff we have. You would normally put kidney beans in chili, but pinto beans taste just as good and pinto beans are cheaper usually. So what we're doing for supper is I took some of that already cooked hamburger. We're warming it up here. Don't go too far, Virginia, you got the cord. We're warming this up here and I will season it and Mark and I will get our portions out and then, and maybe my mom, and then we've got 2 cans of black beans
we done
that will go in there so the kids can have black beans with their meat. They love black beans. This isn't a punishment towards the children. We also had rice in the fridge so they can finish the rice with their food. We'll cut up, you can mix it. Okay, we'll cut up lettuce and we'll eat this on tortillas or as salads. We've got sour cream and salsa, all that stuff. So we'll see you guys in a little bit when we have supper. Can I put that?
Set, go!
Are you smiling for the camera? So every night at supper time, we do bedtime math. So we just finished our supper. We're finishing our math questions, but we realized we should take a video. So we're talking, today's question is about lionfish, and I'll do a couple questions like we would have on here. So Uriah, they already did their math questions, so I gotta make these ones up. Uriah, if 2 lionfish went to a party, and 2 more lionfish went to a party, how many are there?
4.
Good job. Hey, Abigail,
What?
if those 4 fish each brought a friend, how many fish would be at the party?
8.
8. Okay, look. You've got a mouthful of food, okay? So think.
How many what?
If a lionfish has the colors brown, orange, white, and black on it, how many colors is that?
5. Orange.
I'll say it again, okay? If a lionfish has the colors brown, orange, white, and black on it, how many
4.
colors? 4. Okay, Samuel, you ready? Okay, they have way more than this, okay? But if every lionfish has 10 babies, how many babies would 5 mama lionfish have altogether?
50.
50. Good. Okay, they actually have 30,000, lay 30,000 eggs at a time. That's a really big number. Okay, so there's questions all the way up to, we do questions for, Uriah, why are you tying yourself up? He's making a vest for himself. Okay, so we have questions for Uriah, Abigail, Josiah, Samuel, and Naomi, and sometimes a question for Virginia. That's just how many questions are on the board. There's 6 questions with sometimes a 7th one. So we are finishing our supper, we're finishing our math. We just got a message from a friend from church asking if we would like some venison from a deer that he shot a little while ago. He's going to pick it up from the butcher. So our family is going to get multiple meals worth of venison provided to us because this friend is kind and God put us on his heart and all of that. And we had some venison last year for the first time that we had like a bunch to use and we really enjoyed it. So everybody was very excited about that, right guys?
What you doing?
Do you see it all? That's deer meat. Yum, deer meat. Yum, yum. You gonna eat it? Well, you can't eat it right now. I know.
God supplies all your needs and a whole lot more because we didn't need that. But What do you think? Have you ever had venison?
No.
I don't think you ever have because it was all gone by the time you started eating.
He's like, why do you keep pulling it away from me? I'm not quite understanding this.
Maybe because you should be playing with raw meat packages. I don't know.
Okay. Do I look like I've been crying? Because I've been crying. So, why children always have to come up with very deep theological or personal questions at nighttime, I have no idea. But it happens, and Mommy's already a basket case because it's nighttime and I'm trying to put everyone to bed. So there's been some tears. It happens probably multiple times a week.
But it wasn't me this time.
So anyway, we are about to watch some of that rabbit-proof fence movie I was mentioning before. I'll let you guys know if we like it, but we're not going to finish it tonight because we're watching with the older girls. We have a half hour before they go to bed, and
They stayed up too late doing a
they
live stream last
yeah, last night they got to stay up late doing a live stream, so we're only going to watch half of a half hour of this tonight. We'll watch more tomorrow because they go to bed at 9, and then Mark and I need to go to bed because last night the baby stayed up till almost 11, and so we're all tired. That's why Mommy took a nap today, but it still didn't catch me up on all the sleep. So thank you for joining us for our day in the life here at Herding Little Cows to the Glory of God, and we will see you next time.